Hi, I'm Davern. I'm here to share my love for tennis with you and to help you be happier on the court. Okay, today's video is not on the tennis court. A little bit of rain doesn't hurt. We're not made of sugar. So we're going to go ahead and do a video on how it can be better, in my opinion, run when they're having the tournaments in professional tennis in terms of somebody really winning the match. And when I say really winning the match, I mean in 2019 they introduced 12-game old tiebreaker to decide the match. And what happened is, in the end of the day, Federer and Djokovic played in the final, and it was the final where this happened to be 12 games all in the final set, and then it was just decided by a tiebreaker there. So to me, this means that when you have the final match of the tournament, especially a big important tournament like a Grand Slam or a Masters or the end of year finals, that everybody really wants to see somebody actually win the match. So the advantage set is where once you get to 5-all, 6-all, somebody needs to win by 2 games to show that they have the advantage over the other person and they really won the match by holding serve and breaking to win the championships or the title, or they broke serve and then they hold onto their own serve to serve out the match to win by those 2 games, 7-5 or 8-6. So the important point I want to make is that most of the tournament, and for example Wimbledon is apparently the most watched match in the world each year out of all the tennis matches, the men's singles final. So if that's the showcase of the event and the big opportunity for tennis to establish itself as the best sport in the world and showcase itself to new people to get them wanting to play and viewers interested to watch, I don't feel that when it gets to 12 games all the people who were watching the championships with Federer and Djokovic and the great match that it was, and all the people watching like me here from Singapore, was once it got to 12 games all and it was really exciting, there was like, hey, all right, this is enough, right? Let's just finish it by doing a tiebreak. I really don't think that that's what everybody who was watching and the people in the crowd who were there were thinking. They were thinking that, wow, who's going to be able to be better than the other guy? Djokovic was struggling to break Federer's serve, and from memory he didn't actually break Federer's serve for the entire match. So it will be very interesting to hear what Roger Federer thinks about what happened there with the new rules. Of course, that was the rules and he knew that going in. But if he has an opinion on whether he felt his chances were pretty good going in at that 5th set, they were going deep and 10-all, 11-all and then 12-all. Seeing that he hasn't lost his serve, but he was able to break Djokovic's serve in the match. So Roger Federer, feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what you think about what would have been ideal in that situation. So what I'm saying is that once you play and you're in the final, then that is the purpose for the tournament, the showcase match. And a lot of the best matches in the past in tennis are great final sets where, like for example, the US Open where Kim Clijsters and Serena Williams were playing and they had that really long epic final, I think 14-12, and Capriati was in another one, 13-11, I think the final set. And many of the men's finals like the Roddick and Federer one, 16-14, these finals, Pat Rafter and Goran Ivanisevic, these matches that are going to an advantage set beyond 7-5, beyond the 8-6, 9-7 type of thing, these are a lot of the best matches that we've ever seen. When you go into a tournament, you don't want to have it that when we get to the final that we're just going to cut it off because, that's it. We want to make it that somebody really earns and wins the championship. So I'm all for the matches that are not the final being finished earlier with a tiebreaker to decide the match, because the idea would be, as happened many times, especially at Wimbledon, is one player is reaching the final and they're nowhere near physically able to perform at their best because of having to play for a really long time in one of the previous matches just before, whether semi-finals or quarterfinals or even both matches before they get to the final. Like for example Kevin Anderson in 2018 having to play with John Isner for so long and then playing with Federer for so long as well, and then having to play with Djokovic and really not moving very well or being able to put his best in, which could be the biggest, most important match of his life, where he made it to the final of Wimbledon and he was unable to give it his best because he was so exhausted from those previous matches. So to get to a score where I think if you have a look at a lot of the matches over time in the women's and men's singles draws, when they go to the final set and they're trying to see who really wins, who deserves that great victory in this great close match, and you're having the advantage set, you've got to have the advantage over the other people to win by the 2 games, to prove it and earn it, is that those type of matches are most of the time, if they're not being won at 6-5 and then somebody's trying to make 7-5 to win, and that would be a normal score, and then beyond that going to the advantage set would be the 8-6 and 9-7, you would see that a lot of the matches in the rounds of the tournaments, they're finishing at 8-6 or 9-7, which is a lot shorter than having the tiebreaker at 12-all. So I think a good step would be to have it that once you allow people to get to that type of score where it's 7-all and 8-7 and trying to win at 9-7, if it's not won at 9-7 and it goes to 8-all, then for all the matches it should be at 8-all, the tiebreaker then. Besides the finals, when you're playing for the title and the championships in the championship match, it should be there. Because if you play a really long match, like a lot of people have experienced, I've experienced, is there's not a lot of difference to 2018 and 12 games all, 13 games all. When you're playing till 24 games in the final set and then a tiebreaker, that is still really, really long, and you're going to have it up against you to be feeling really fit and fresh for the next match, even if you have a day off before the final or the semi-final, because 12 all, 24 games, 5th set is really deep. So I think it's far more effective to try to call the tie breaks that are not in the championship match at 8-all. So I'm going to have a little bit of a look at the statistics, but I'm going to in Grand Slam tournaments. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of the games that go to 5th set beyond the 7-5 score are over by 9-7 or 8-6. So the ones that are not, then these are going to be trying to call the tiebreaker at 8-all, so it doesn't really prolong it. Because the idea would be that players who are playing really well, the best of their life, and they make it through to the final of a Grand Slam, especially for the first time, that they're not exhausted by the time they reach. So being able to stop the match at 8-all and have a tiebreaker in those rounds, because the idea would be to have a really good final, is the whole idea behind it, in my opinion. So then, of course, when you do have the final, and many matches when you go to the tennis, you'll know, especially at the Grand Slam level or places at Davis Cup where they're having best of 5 set matches for the men's, then and for the women's with the best of 3 sets, it's when you're watching the tennis, is even if everybody loves a certain player and everybody's barracking for Serena Williams at the Australian Open and she wins the first set, you're always going to find that the crowd is going to be supporting the other player, the underdog player, to try to win the second set. Some of the players who feel a lot of support to win the first set seem to be a little confused and annoyed by the fact that the crowd changes and supports the other person. But it's just normal, because when you're in the crowd, who doesn't go, and who really loves tennis wants to see everybody go to the final set and get their value for money for watching the tennis by seeing the full allotment of sets. So the best of 3 sets for women means people want to go in and they want to see the whole 3 sets. And best of 5 sets for men, they want to see the whole 5 sets. They want to see it go down to a decider and see the pressure, who is better player in that final set when it really counts and the pressure's on, who can win through. So this would be another point where instead of just having a shootout with a tiebreak, that somebody really wins the match. So this is a very common thing where you see players and it's 2-1 in men's tennis, and the crowd will really support the other player to try to boost them up, to try to see if they can see that 5th set. They want to see the 5th set. A really good example was when I was at the Australian Open watching Djokovic and Federer a couple of years back in the semi-final, and Djokovic had a 2-0 lead, and then the crowd was going crazy. It felt like the place was shaking. Everybody was barracking so strongly for Federer against Djokovic, and Djokovic was wondering what was going on because he was playing so well and he was winning, and then all of a sudden everybody's really crazy barracking for Federer. So it was amazing, the energy, and Federer came up and he was doing well and he came back and the crowd was really happy. The crowd is always going to do that. So if it is that the crowd's always looking for that final set and to see who really wins, it doesn't really make sense to me how, especially in the match of the tournament, the final. This tournament is over for another year, and you're going to be one of the famous champions on the Grand Slam or a Masters title or the end of year final, the WTA finals or the men's ATP Tour finals. It doesn't seem right that you just say, all right, let's just call it an end here and do a tie-break now. So I'd really like to see everybody's comments and opinions on what they feel is good with all this new change where they're saying, hey, okay, 12 games all, we'll call it a super tiebreaker when we'll play out from there, or versus having it the other way where somebody really needs to win and earn the final, the championship match. So that's the distinction. I'm not saying for every single match, I'm saying for the final match that it should be the person who wins the title really earns the title by winning the match by holding serve and breaking serve, or breaking serve and then serving out the championship, because everybody who's played at a high level, or even if you expect a lot of yourself and you're really trying hard at any type of level, it's very difficult to do that final game where you're trying to get that break to win the match or the tournament or the title or your league that you're competing in. The final match, when you're serving for it especially, is really difficult to close, and it's like the real test of tennis. The essence of tennis is the mental fortitude, who's better mentally on the day and who plays better on the day and repeats more often at the critical points and really wins those matches. That's what's really at the end the real thing where you feel a lot of reward for being able to get through this. And of course, a lot of people get to this situation and they can't close, but this is the real test for your personality and character and your game on the day. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking no more 12 all in the final set. Just let's tiebreaker and let's end this. Let's make sure that the final match for all the major tournaments in the world, that they're making sure that someone really earns and wins that title. Okay, so especially given that, for example, the end of year finals, where it was Dominic Thiem and Tsitsipas who were playing in the men's final, the Tournament of Champions, the best 8 in the world, all playing the top 8 guys. They get to the final, and after this, the whole season builds up to this, and then you have the final match to see who wins the Champion of Champion tournament. That you get to the final, and the next season is not going to start for at least 6 weeks, so they've got ample time to rest and recover. Why would it not be a best of 5 set match? And why would we just be calling a tiebreaker to finish it off? When I was watching the men's ATP finals in the end of 2019, I wasn't watching that game and going, hey, look, this is just amazing, but enough's enough, let's just do a tiebreaker and be finished with it. I'm sure that same again if Dominic Thiem, who lost the final set tiebreaker there when they only played 3 sets, it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say about what he felt his chances would be if they were doing a best of 5 set match, or the final set that they were doing, that it could be an advantage set and somebody would really have to serve it out or hold to win them, or break of serve to win the match. It'd be interesting to see the feelings there. Okay, so that's what I'm putting on the table there. So I'm looking for people to comment and support this or give your opinion. But I, for one, not watching these matches where they're the final match for the title and the championship, Grand Slam, Masters, or end of year championships, both men's and women, that final set. I want to see someone really win and really earn it to earn that great title that they've just played in this type of events. That's what I want to see. Let me hear about what you want to see. Okay, make sure you keep enjoying your tennis, watch, play, and have fun. If you like this video, please subscribe to my tennis YouTube channel so that you can get a notification by email each time a new video is uploaded. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends so they can enjoy their tennis too.